Hi again, Walter Rauschenbusch, page 396 of Christianity and the Social Crisis, the last chapter, What to Do. The question then confronts Christian men singly and the Christian church collectively whether they will favor and aid this trend toward communism or oppose it. Down to modern times, as we have seen, the universal judgment of Christian thought was in favor of communism as more in harmony with the genius of Christianity and with the classical precedents of its early social life. Simultaneously with the rise of capitalism, that conviction began to fade out. Protestantism, especially by its intimate alliance with the growing cities and the rising business class, has been individualistic in its theories of Christian society. The question is now how quickly Christian thought will realize that individualism is coming to be an inadequate and antiquated form of social organization, which must give place to a higher form of communistic organization, and how thoroughly it will comprehend that this new communism will afford a far nobler social basis for the spiritual temple of Christianity. For there cannot really be any doubt that the spirit of Christianity has more affinity for a social system based on solidarity and human fraternity than for one based on selfishness and mutual antagonism. In competitive industry, one man may profit through the ruin of others. In cooperative production, the wealth of one man would depend on the growing wealth of all. In competitive society, each man strives for himself and his family only, and the sense of larger duties is attenuated and feeble. In communistic society, no man could help realizing that he is a part of a great organization and that he owes it duty and loyalty. Competition tends to make good men selfish. Cooperation would compel selfish men to develop public spirit. The moral and wholesome influences in society today proceed from the communistic organizations within it. The divisive, anarchic, and destructive influences which are racking our social body today proceed from those realms of social life which are individualistic and competitive. Business life today is organized in growing circles within which a certain amount of cooperation and mutual helpfulness exists, and to that extent it exerts a sound moral influence. Insofar as it is really competitive, it engenders covetousness, cunning, hardness, selfish satisfaction in success, or resentment and despair in failure. It is a marvelous demonstration of the vitality of human goodness that a system so calculated to bring out the evil traits in us still leaves so much human kindness and nobility alive. The Christian temper of mind, the honest regard for the feelings and welfare of others, the desire to make our life serve the common good, would get its first chance to control our social life in a society organized on the basis of solidarity and cooperation. It would seem, therefore, that one of the greatest services which Christianity could render to humanity in the throes of the present transition would be to aid those social forces which are making for the increase of communism. The Church should help public opinion to understand clearly the difference between the moral qualities of the competitive and the communistic principle, and enlist religious enthusiasm on behalf of that which is essentially Christian. Christian individuals should strengthen and protect the communistic institutions already in existence in society and help them to extend their functions. For instance, the public schools can increasingly be made nuclei of common life for the district within which they are located, gathering the children for play out of school hours and the adults for instruction, discussion, and social pleasure in the evenings. The usefulness of the public parks as centers of communal life can be immensely extended by encouraging and organizing the play of the children and by holding regular public festivals. Simply to induce the crowd listening to a band concert in the park to join in singing a patriotic song would convert a mass of listening individuals into a social organism, thrilled with a common joy and sensible of its cohesion. Public ownership of the great public utilities would be desirable for the education it would give in solidarity, if for no other reason. Even if a street railway should be run at a loss for a time under city management, it would at least draw people closer together by the sense of common proprietorship and would teach them to work better together to overcome the trouble. Every step taken in industrial life to give the employees some proprietary rights in the business, and anything placing owners and employees on a footing of human equality, would deserve commendation and help. The Christian spirit of fraternity should create fraternal social institutions, and the fraternal institutions may in turn be trusted to breed and spread the fraternal spirit. It is a most hopeful fact that the communistic features of our government are awakening, in some public officials, a wholehearted and far-seeing devotion to the public welfare. A number of our public health officers have thrown themselves into the crusade against tuberculosis and infant mortality with a zeal far more far-sighted and chivalrous than is usually called out in the ordinary doctor who cures patients on the individualistic plan. When men at the head of some department of city government realize the immense latent capacity of their department to serve the people, they are fired with ambition to do what they see can be done. Their natural ambition to make themselves felt, to exert power and get honor, runs in the same direction with the public needs. Such men are still scarce, but they are a prophecy of the kind of character which may be created in a communistic society, and of the power of enthusiastic work which may hereafter be summoned to the service of the people. The vast educational work done by some departments of our national government, for instance the Department of Agriculture, furnishes similar proof of what may be done when we abandon the policeman theory of government and adopt the family theory. Certainly it would be no betrayal of the Christian spirit to enter into a working alliance with this great tendency toward the creation of cooperative and communistic social institutions based on the broad principle of the brotherhood of men and the solidarity of their interests. Next time, the upward movement of the working class. See you soon.